challenge is for us, we're anti-woke. You know, we say, hey, don't divide people based on race or these immutable characteristics. Let's let people be their character, their merit, etc. But now the battle is, that's the division, Luke. It's the people who want to divide versus the people who don't want to divide, creating this weird division.
And they brand themselves as unity. Would that just be perfect, right?
Well, so a question for you, James, I guess, is if this is their sword and their shield, does it end by just collapsing in front of them, or does it? What does it become? Is there a way that the establishment successfully wields this to their advantage in the end?
Well, I think wokeness is actually now turning to their disadvantage. People are seeing it. It has been exposed. People are getting upset. People aren't going to put up with that for very long. They're going to, and it doesn't mean that you have to go do something and you know, something crazy. That's not what I mean by saying that people aren't going to put up with it. They're going to see through that this is fake. This is fake. So then what happens? We start to have these media wars. They start banning people off. Everything that they're doing is actually just kind of this accumulation of weight that's causing that thing to fall down. So they have the sword and the shield, but it's getting dull. The shield is getting soft. And eventually we're going to hit a critical mass. And that's how it always works. That's why Steve's always pointing to you and saying that you're the solution, that You're the answer, that you are, what's your word for it, Steve? You always call them I thought Praetorian Guard, that's wrong.
Oh, the force multiplier?
The force multiplier, yeah.
No, it's, look, their biggest fear right now is that you come to conferences like this, you get smarter, and not just that, it's applied knowledge. The reason they're trying to take out everybody and deplatform everybody and stop it all and go after Tucker and go after everybody is because they fear you.
That's right.
They understand they haven't had a true populist uprising in this country in its history, right? Not a true populist uprising. The only way to defeat it is a populist uprising, and that is you.
So one of the ways I think that it's going to be exploited is economic Marxists on the left, when they start to realize the people they were indoctrinated to hate are actually running the political party that they're affiliated with. When that is exploited, there will be a massive schism on the American left. Wokeism and people that are legitimate Bolsheviks that believe in the economics of Marxism but are not as enthused on the race Marxist stuff, that is going to be a schism because the vast majority of Americans see that it's harder than ever to buy a home, that consumer debt is increasing, that your money is becoming worthless. Those messages are going to resonate like wildfire in the coming months, the coming years, especially as now I think we're going to hit a mass unemployment cycle. What's less and less popular is hearing about privilege walks. Again, wokeism is a smokescreen grenade. It is trying to confuse you. It's a shock bang grenade to try to say, I don't know what direction things are. As soon as the economics of this will hit everybody's pocketbook in the coming months. That's why they're so afraid. They're afraid that the woke ideas are becoming largely unpopular and that the economic reality that's about to set in is going to unite almost everybody on the right, on the left, to point at the uniparty and say, you've been stealing from us for the last couple decades. And I'm not okay with that.
And disenfranchising us from our own country.
Yes.
Disenfranchising us from our own country. That's so important to understand that we're being disenfranchised from our own country.
But do you think, James, that this economic crisis will overcome the cult mentality that exists among so many of these people on the left?
I mean, people don't just shake out of cults, man. I mean, that's Leon Festinger, right? He infiltrates the UFO cult. The UFO doesn't come. What a big surprise. There's no UFO. And then what did people do? They said, well, it came spiritually and turned around because, I mean, so the people who are fully brainwashed by this, they need help. And I mean it. It's really not going to be good for them. What will happen, though, is that most of the people that are supporting it, most of the people that are putting their black square on their profile or whatever, aren't that committed. They're not actually fully bought into the cult. They're confused. And when things start to shake, they're going to start to see that this isn't what they thought it was. And a lot of them will start to come back to reality. When you break the active measure, when you break the psyop, when you turn off the television, people's brains start to readjust to the reality in front of them. And this starts to happen when reality shocks them back. Most of them, and enough for the key word I said earlier, is a critical mass of people. That's where you're going to get this uprising Steve's talking about. This is when you have a critical mass of people who say, nope, no more. Then it's going to be, everything's going to start to change, and it's going to change very quickly. We have to keep pressing to get to that point. We have to keep making it more clear with the see through the smoke grenade, the flashbang. You have to keep doing this. But wokeness is an increasing liability for them, and because of people like you, it's going to keep being an increasing liability for them, and they're not going to be able, they're going to try to get rid of it as hard as they can when it gets to that point.